Welcome to One Word a Day. I'm Sophie, piloting into the universe of Chinese. Let's review week 12. So we started with word, and we know this came from this curvatures, two curves. The upward turning bowl shape is canopy of the tree, or the tree, the whole super simplification of a tree above the ground. And then its mirror image below the ground, the root part, the invisible part. And Chinese is quite distinctive in describing the whole tree, not just what's visible to humans above the ground. And the way to simplify is to turn the curvatures, kind of straighten it up. Well, given here, the left and right strokes here still diagonal with a little bit curvature to kind of recall back of the original curvier shapes. But for the most part, it's easier to write. And then the top part simply flatten out. And that could cause confusion for later. Like, what is horizontal line? Because we know Chinese represent heaven, one straight line, earth or ground, one straight line. And this could look like the whole tree just underground with a tiny tip. So that's a little bit misleading, but it's functional. It's for ease of writing. And build on this character, we have more that's related to that. We add this indicator, this horizontal line, that doesn't exist in nature. It's pure human abstraction. Because here, this horizontal line added to point your attention to the image. Because how are we going to express root? We first draw a tree and then point to the root of the tree by drawing this horizontal line and say, this is the part we're talking about. It's different from the tree itself. It's a part of the tree below the ground. So now we have not only this flattening of the canopy, but also this indicator. So this, I often say, is equivalent to a contemporary use of visual cues with arrow pointing. Like this is the attention focus. Okay, then we have, why I have it here? We have tip. So again, the tree image is almost a mirror image from the root. Instead of drawing this horizontal line as the indicator to the root, we move it to the very tip of the tree. And the difference with the root is the root would cross-section or intersect with all three branches of the root. I'm not even sure if that's called the branches of the root. All right, but the top, it only intersect with the highest upward pointing tree top. So that means the very tip of the tree. And here we have, again, the canopy flattening and then this horizontal line as the indicator. And because we have another similar looking thing, so intentionally to differentiate this character with the next page, people keep this indicator longer than, say, the root. The root is only here, this much, this width, but this is longer intentionally to differentiate with this this yet imagery. And this simply comes from two layers of the canopy of the tree. And that shows the future of the tree that's yet to come. When this canopy is kind of flourishing and it grows more layers of, I guess here represent all the trunks, the trunk is one, but the branches, the twigs, the leaves. It's full grown future tree. So that means it hasn't happened yet. It's future looking. And so both this bow shape got flattened out, and to differentiate from the tip of the tree, intentionally the top horizontal line is shorter than the tree, the baseline tree. Okay, and then we have this stroke slanted. That actually came from this, well, in this case, it's not just tree. It could be a tree, but it could be also crop that human grown, farmed it for a whole year, and then when whatever, most likely the grains or the fruits, we we want to harvest when it becomes heavier. Then the tip portion of it is going to drip like that. It's simply gravity observed in nature on a plant. And Chinese captured that feature to mean this is not just any kind of plant. It's ripening plant, it's a crop. It's here, this part is what you want. And that's what you labor for a whole year, right? And the difference is, well, instead of just half, because when you write a half, you have to kind of do this. It's not that easy. So this whole diagonal line, almost like precariously balancing on top of the tip of this plant, is easier to write, more distinctive, and is make it visually more balanced instead of like kind of a bending like that. Okay, now the art of it, which surprisingly has nothing to do with the tree. This whole structure of the cross in the middle actually is a human hand that's kind of flattened out. It's almost like, okay, I cannot really bend my finger like that. I'm trying to represent three finger shapes like this, right? With here is the wrist portion, and this is 3 fingers. And then we have a separated, detached dots to represent the sticky part of the sticky rice type of thing. And the whole thing was used to be, this is sticky rice, used to be the asphalt before the contemporary, I guess, the industry, oil industry came in. Human past solution, at least for ancient China, was to use sticky rice to glue stuff together so that you're not walking on gravel roads. It's paved. So ancient city paved road eventually represent pathways and eventually represent your neurons pathways that you're good with solving a certain type of problems or creating a certain type of things. So you specialized in certain craftsmanship and then eventually extend to art. And here, this separate dot as well as this 2 strokes here used to be those individual rice sticky around your hand, and the cross symbol actually here is the hand symbol flattened. It's very misleading. Without checking 2,000 years ago's rendering, I would never imagine how Chinese represent art, this big category, like a human creativity kind of thing, right? When we're talking about art and science, art probably just as much as representing human creativity as science, if not more, because there's certain magic, certain randomness in it built in that has anything to do with wood. It has nothing to do with wood, but sticky rice. Okay, so here is the full 6 characters. Let's see if you remember the pronunciation. 木本末位和数. So here are their simplification, and there are something that represent the physical world, the blue lines, and intentionally differentiate that's out of human unique ability. Maybe it's not unique. We don't exactly know. We claim humans uniquely have this abstraction ability, not only create or try to capture images like the wood or tree from nature, but also would be able to add something that's not in nature, but as a human way of abstracting thinking to point your attention to this part of the tree. And the most, I guess, misleading thing is the last one. Art has nothing to do with wood, even if contemporary Chinese simplify it into same looking thing. So here is kind of a wood art for this week. Hope that helps. See you another week.